this kind of goes back to that exposure triangle that I was talking about with your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. So a good way to kind of see a representation of how this works is to take your camera and put it in manual mode, even if you're not used to shooting in manual mode, so that you have full control over all three of those settings.
Right.
And then adjust one of those settings and see what happens to your camera. And then without adjusting that setting, adjust another setting to bring it back to where you were. So for instance, if you were at 1/500th of a second and you increased your shutter speed to 1/1000th of a second, you just cut your light in half. Therefore, you would end up losing one stop of light. So you have to get that stop of light back somewhere in order to properly expose your image. So you either have to increase your ISO or you have to decrease your aperture, right? So you either have to open up the aperture more or increase the sensitivity of the camera sensor via ISO.
It's like he's speaking a different language, isn't it? I can't wait till all of this is going to be like, ding, I get it.
Right.
Because it's so complicated to me.
Yeah. For me, for years it was. And I didn't quite grasp it. And then all of a sudden one day, I don't know, maybe I heard somebody explain it a certain way, but it just clicked. And I was like, oh, yeah, it makes perfect sense now.
That's what I'm hoping is that everybody who explains it, that finally, one day somebody will explain it in a certain way and my brain will be like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet, though.
Right.